this Sunday. I think it's February the 20th. So, thinking about that, we're going to be going over the best NBA All-Star games of all time. I was thinking about doing the best All-Star weekends in total, but there have been a lot, after doing some digging, there have been a lot of NBA All-Star games that have been on very bad All-Star weekends. Like, the dunk contest was pretty bad, or the three-point contest had no one in it, and vice versa. So we're just going to be focusing on the actual All-Star game and how, I guess, fun, exciting, what happened, I guess, during that game, and yeah, I guess, talking about some of the best ones. So make sure you do comment down below, maybe your favorite, maybe the one that you think should be the best one of all time. I'm not going to be doing this in any order, just going to be rambling off some of my favorite ones, and then maybe again in the comments you can maybe say your favorite, or maybe I can say my favorite if I can think of one. And also like the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I would very much appreciate that. And yeah, I think it's everything. Make sure you check out yesterday's video if you're interested in more traditional ASMR videos. I did a conspiracy theory video, which, by the way, I will be doing a sports conspiracy theory video very, 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 very soon. So make sure you guys look out for that. And I think that's everything. So let us get started with this whispered ramble. Alrighty, so the first one I'm actually going to be getting into is one of my favorite All-Star games, and I think it was actually the first time they did the new scoring, I guess, ending to the NBA All-Star game, where it used to be, obviously like a normal basketball game, 4 quarters, it ends during the 4th quarter, but now this time it ends during a certain set score. You have to do some math on how that score is set in order to close out the game. It's like some weird math thing you have to do, but I actually really like this rule. It makes the, competitiveness a little bit better than having a timed sort of game, because it seems like, at least back in the day, a handful of years ago, man, the NBA All-Star game can be very boring sometimes, but since this new rule change, it has been very, obviously very good for the NBA All-Star game. I'm trying to think, maybe there have been a couple blowouts, but not as bad as in years past when it used to be just the 4 quarters timed, blah, blah, blah. We all get that. Also, obviously, the NBA draft, All-Star draft, one of my favorite, things of the NBA year now is the NBA All-Star draft. Obviously, now with it being televised on TV, very fun to see how that goes all the time. And, yeah, 2020 was a very good one. This was, I think, the one in Chicago. This one also had, obviously, Team LeBron versus Team, I think, Giannis, I think it was at the time. This was also the year that, I think Kawhi Leonard won the NBA All-Star Game MVP and actually won the newly titled Kobe Bryant All-Star Game MVP award, which is pretty dope. I think in this current year's NBA All-Star Game, they're actually changing the look of the NBA All-Star Game MVP award, which I'm very excited to see that in person, see how it looks. I've seen pictures of it. It looks pretty interesting. But yeah, Kawhi Leonard won that MVP award. Pretty cool. But as I said, in the scoring being very close, it actually ended up being a 2-point game. I remember this being a very long game. I think I went to like a Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that to go watch it, and I remember it being actually pretty loud in there, a lot of excitement. This was one of the first ones I can think of. Obviously, the storyline of the Kobe Bryant Award, that thing being handed out, was very important, and also just the game being very good. Both sides having some pretty good squads on them. Obviously, Team LeBron is usually always pretty dominant, but Kawhi Leonard was on fire, and obviously the dominance of LeBron in this All-Star Game drafting has been on fire since the start. He hasn't lost an NBA All-Star Game since the All-Star draft has started. I'm gonna knock on wood for this. I am actually pretty interested to think who would now win in a West versus Eastern Conference All-Star Game. Kind of interesting to see how that would turn out nowadays. Another one I can think of, 2003. I don't think I've ever really watched the entirety of this game. I remember seeing highlights of it and the ending to it. 2003 is pretty significant because it actually is Michael Jordan's very last NBA All-Star Game. Pretty sad. This game was also a very close one. It actually went into overtime, which is pretty wild. Also, kind of a side note, at the halftime show, it was actually Mariah Carey doing the halftime show for this one, which is pretty wild to think about. I mean, they haven't had anyone really super crazy. I remember Damian Lillard 37. That is absolutely insane. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Oh, actually, it went to double overtime. But yeah, obviously a pretty significant one, I would say for sure. Michael Jordan actually wasn't even a starter for the All-Star game during this one. Vince Carter, though, who was a starter, gave up his starting spot to Michael Jordan, obviously to honor him. That's definitely the right move to do, I would assume. Let's actually see what else we got here. Oh, just looking up some of just random NBA All-Star games. This one was actually kind of cool. Not really because of the game, though. 1983 was a good All-Star game. It had obviously Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, David Thompson, Julius Erving, Isaiah Thomas, Moses Malone, all in their prime. And then you had, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, George Gervin in there as well. Still very good during this time period. But this one is pretty significant because of the national anthem was sung by Marvin Gaye, which he just put on. People say it is the best national anthem to have ever been sung ever. If you haven't heard Marvin Gaye sing the national anthem at the All-Star game in 1983, please listen to it. It is, I think it may be the best, or at least one of the best renditions, I think is what you say, of the national anthem of all time. It's amazing. He's obviously very amazing, very talented, but this is just a very heartfelt song that he sang for the national anthem. It was really sick. But yeah, pretty cool. The East actually ended up winning this one, 132 to 123, and it looks here, Julius Erving had 25 points. It doesn't say if he won MVP, but I'm assuming if they started talking about Julius Erving, I'm assuming he won All-Star Game MVP maybe. Next up, again, going back to my list, that one wasn't really that crazy of an All-Star Game, but I had to mention that part of it. But actually one of the best ones, 1992. The 1992 NBA All-Star Game has some pretty big significance, kind of like, again, Michael Jordan's retirement. This one is about Magic Johnson and him coming back out of retirement. 1992 was obviously, Magic Johnson had to retire. I think he took a year off, or maybe a handful of time off, I should say. And yeah, came back for this NBA All-Star Game and was pretty wild, not gonna lie. Obviously, a lot of people had, probably during this time period, their own thoughts about, Magic and what was going on with him, with his disease and everything like that, but the Western Conference actually took the dub on this one, 153 to 113. My goodness. And guess who was the leading scorer for the entire All-Star Game, you ask? It was actually Magic Johnson, which is pretty wild. He actually had 25 points, 2 steals, 9 assists, 5 rebounds as well. Went 3 for 3 from the three-point line. Yeah, and you might think, oh, well, who was an All-Star that year in the East? Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Mark Price, Joe Dumars, some killers on the Eastern Conference, and they absolutely smoked them, which is pretty wild, not gonna lie. The West had Clyde Drexler, Chris Mullin, Karl Malone, David Robinson, some good stars of their own, but even the East, the names I just named off by themselves, I'm surprised it was as big of a blow, but obviously with Magic Johnson coming back, he was the show of that game and really showed out. And again, if you can watch highlights for an All-Star Game, this one is also one that I highly recommend. Again, kind of like with the Marvin Gaye one with the national anthem, this All-Star Game, pretty important. Not entirely because of the All-Star Game itself, but this was actually when they did the 50 greatest NBA player, listing announcement, the picture. You've probably seen it yourself. I've done a video on the 50 greatest players ever in NBA history. This is when they all came together and took that picture, that Tice was actually named MVP of the East, and the Eastern Conference ended up winning that one, 132 to 120. Pretty interesting. And in this Sunday's NBA All-Star Game, they're going to be doing the 75 greatest NBA players of all time, and they're going to take another group picture like that. Obviously, it's going to look a lot different from when this picture was taken. Obviously, a lot of passings and stuff like that, which is really sad. But man, we're going to have another legendary picture of, LeBron James next to Bill Russell. You're going to have, Giannis Antetokounmpo up there with Michael Jordan. Like, that picture is going to blow people's minds. And what's even crazier is that in another, 25 years, there's going to be another group where, Luka Doncic is going to be on there, maybe John Morant, and then some other future guy who's maybe in middle school right now is going to be on that listing, which is so crazy to think about. But man, I cannot wait to see that next picture for this upcoming Sunday's picture taken. Needing a little extra help to think about some other good ones. Those are the ones I remember off the top of my head, and some moments I remember about the NBA All-Star Game. This one I had to do a little bit of deep diving to find. I've never seen any highlights or even remember hearing about this game, but this is the NBA All-Star Game of the year 2001. Apparently, it was pretty much a blowout in this NBA All-Star Game. It says here the Eastern Conference was trailing by 21 points with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But a legendary player in himself, Allen Iverson, I guess decided to take the game over, and trailing 21 points with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, scored 15 of his 25 total points and to lead the Eastern Conference to a comeback win, winning 111 to 110. The Western Conference actually had a last shot of the game and ended up missing, so it came down to the final shot, which is actually, again, pretty exciting. And again, All-Star Games, when it comes to time, can be a lot of fun, but man, it seems like I actually really like the scoring, I guess, benchmark now that teams have to go after to win the game. I feel like there is some sort of more competitive, almost street ball atmosphere when you have a target score to go off of. And I don't know, I feel like it's going good so far, because again, this game was pretty close, but a lot of NBA All-Star Games definitely get sometimes out of hand, and this one looked like it was going that way. Obviously, a 21-point blowout with 9 minutes left. That's pretty bad. Thank goodness it turned out the way it did. And obviously, if I can tie in, again, not really so much about the game itself, but basically every single NBA All-Star Game draft have been, again, one of my favorite moments of the entire NBA year. Just watching, I guess, LeBron and whoever he's going up against, whether it's, Steph Curry or Giannis or KD, so far as it's been for, the All-Star draft, and the chemistry that they have and they bring out, and obviously with the TNT guys, have always been a lot of fun. Those have always been super fun, and I really hope, even if they do change and go back to, I guess, the normal, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter timed, I guess, way to win, I hope they actually never get rid of the NBA draft for the NBA All-Star Game. I feel like even in years past, the NBA, East versus West has been a lot of fun, but I feel like it's always in waves where, the East just dominates for, 5-6 years in a row, then it gets kind of even, and then, the West will dominate for 5-6 years in a row, and then they have to climb back up and gain All-Star. It's like a roller coaster, and you kind of can guess who's going to win and lose. I feel like with the NBA draft for the All-Star Game, it is almost dead center even. Now, of course, Giannis, when he drafted his teams in the past, have been pretty sus, not gonna lie. Other teams have been very close and been a lot of fun. So as long as, the teams are drafted correctly, they should be very fair. So you just gotta cross your fingers and hope that happens. But yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about the NBA All-Star Game, is for sure the draft. But yeah, that's all I can really think of. Obviously, again, only being, still young-ish, I've only really seen NBA All-Star Games from about 2010-ish till now, and there have been some very good ones, but I think the best ones are still yet to come. I think with the NBA draft and the new scoring system, I think they're just going to get better and better. Like I did mention, 2020s, I think might be my favorite one of all time. Again, not only because of, the Kobe Bryant Award and everything like that, that was very nice, but also just the game was super fun. The closeness, again, having that, okay, we have to reach this score to win, let's get to that score mentality, made it a lot like a street ball game. It was actually very close for maybe even the majority of the fourth quarter. obviously what you want to see in an NBA All-Star game. You do want to see the showtime, the dunks, the alley-oops, the crazy three-point shots. Like last year's had a lot of fun three-point shots, but didn't really have that same intensity like in 2020. So that one's probably my favorite one of all time. So hopefully more end up being like that. So I think that is going to be it for me. Let me know down in the comments if I can find my controller. There it is. Your favorite NBA All-Star game of all time. I think mine's probably, it might be 2020s. Obviously 2010s. There's a lot of really great ones. I remember really enjoying the one in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. That one was super cool, but man, the competitiveness of 2020s, and again with the Kobe Bryant Award, that was pretty cool. So that might be my favorite one as of right now. Maybe I'll think about it and change it, or maybe even the 1992 one with Magic Johnson coming back. That one's also really sick. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video if you do like the video. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you in my next video very, 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 very soon. Alright, guys. Bye.